Yes, it's already packed with fast. One in already. Okay, it's me.
One single satellite is rather I think they see the only every station go broadcast them to the earth.
Okay.
And so we make phone call. Because see, as you see them too, Mara, they're not out there to provide service. Then they synchronize each other. Like now, if this one
Many are we? Okay, coming to Sana. Okay. You're welcome, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Please, if you can hear me, just type something that you hear me.
You can, and the higher the bandwidth.
Please say something. Let me know you can hear.
Yeah, Emeko is on present.
I can hear you. Good afternoon.
I can see. You're welcome.
There's one higher the frequency. The higher the frequency, the more room to interference. That's why it's worrying for this. Whether or not those stuff is more changing. Yeah. That tells you that the lower.
Okay, I think we can start now. Sorry about that. We are trying to. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Say something or type something. Please listen. I will always like a feedback. It's like we are not giving feedback at all. So you can, as I'm talking, then
Yeah, with you.
You can now speak. So please, I need feedback so that we can read it up and know how you're feeling. And if you are getting it, if you're enjoying it, please do let me know. Yeah. I don't know how many of us that were able to do our home play yesterday. Just say something, be chatting so that I will know that, I don't know, please, because if you're not doing this home play, you might not be able to do it again. And the whole exercise will be in vain. So it's very, very important. Like what we're going to do today, that you do your home plays is very, very important. If you don't do home plays, then the whole essence is defeated. So please, today we are going to cover like 4 topics today. So I'm going to rush, I'm going to run, so that we'll be able to do all of that within this stipulated time. And then today's one is very crucial. Is the core of the whole thing we're doing, So today I'm starting off with purpose. I told us yesterday that I hope you're hearing me. Are you hearing me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. So we're starting with purpose today, and it's very, very key to everything. We're going to do purpose today. We're going to look at identity. We're also going to look at vision, and then we're also going to look at goals and intention. But all of these things are tied to understanding your purpose. Now, if you understand your purpose, it will help you greatly know how to, put other things in line. Now, the first question you ask yourself is, what is life all about? Let me also correct some impression. Some people say you create your purpose. Some other people, there's a lot of meaning and interpretation to the word purpose. But today I want us to see what purpose is. And I'm trusting God that you'll be able to also discover your own, because it will help you to create your own vision and your own goal. So then the issue is, what is life all about? Is life about making money? Why are we even here? Is it about raising a family? Is it about making a difference or following your heart? These are some questions you need to ask yourself. Is there any reason why we are all here? Some people want relationship. You find that in life, some people appreciate relationship. Others are looking for health, Other people want acceptance, relevance, career. So many things people are looking for. Emeka, please, can you unmute yourself? Unmute yourself, please. So you find out that people are looking for so many things. Then another major question you will ask yourself, because you need to start asking some of these relevant questions. Who am I? Why am I here? That is the question. What purpose is? What is purpose? Then what is my God ordained purpose in life? First, you need to understand what purpose is before you now understand the long-term plan to achieving that purpose. Now let's get to the work immediately. Now, purpose is the reason for which something is done or created. It's the reason for which something exists. It is an intended result.
The purpose is just like anything.
So purpose is just like anything. This bottle of water on my, the only person usually that will always know the purpose of something is the maker. I don't know, we're having it. Is the maker. That's who understand purpose. Like when you look at your phone, before you use your phone, you look at the manual to understand the features of that phone, and that's what the phone is supposed to do. And so it's the maker that understands what purpose is. So purpose is the reason for which something is done or created. Yes. There is a reason. That's what purpose is. So let me also stress here that purpose is not your job. It's not your daily responsibility. And it's also not your long-term goals. These are not purpose. I'm still feeling it. Are we together? Please, you can put us something. So purpose is the reason for which something is created or made. Purpose is that end, the objective, the end result. That is purpose. And usually, the maker or the producer of something is a person that is in a better position to tell you the purpose of a thing. So when people say purpose, you can create it or you do this or a purpose, I just shudder in shock because it's only the maker can, tell you what the purpose is. I hope we got that, because I have to be fast. Now, why do we need to understand purpose? What is the benefit of purpose? Purpose is like that power that will drive you. First of all, it will help you to understand the work you're supposed to do or what the problem you are to solve. Because in every purpose, there is something to do. There is work to be done. There is problem to solve. So one thing it will do is to help you to solve that problem. Now, the other thing is, it's also like an engine room that drives you or directs your life. Remember that it's not everything you will involve in, it's not everything that you will engage in. Because there is a direction you're going, you know the specific things to do. So it's not everything they invite you in that you want to engage in. Then of course it gives you focus and it also brings hard work. Because you now know what you need to do. You know that you have time to be able to do all of these things. So you know what you now leave to do another thing or to be playing around or gallivanting or wasting time because there is work to be done. So these are the reasons why or benefits of purpose. Now, to enable us understand purpose very well, we need to come to the area of giftings because we are trying to find out what we don't know. But you can only find out what you don't know from the things you know. Now, gifts, skills, and dreams, especially gifts, is something that you know. If you know yourself now, you know the things you can do, you know the things you're able to do. Now, a gift is given to us as a way of helping us to express our purpose. It's through your giftings that you'll be able to express them. So that's why we need gifts. That's why we need understanding of gift. Now, what is gift? Gift is a thing given to us willingly or given to you by somebody. It's not because of what you have done. It's not because of what you will do. It is given to you. It's not dependent on anything. It's not attached to anything. It's a gift and it's a gift. Now, A talent, let me differentiate between gift and talent. Now, talent also is a natural ability, something that you come up and you find out that you can do this thing or you can do that. But the difference between talent and gift is that talent is usually for yourself. You use it for yourself. But gift is usually used for other people, to serve people. Now, one thing you know about your purpose is that purpose is meant to use for the service of humanity. So when you understand that, it will help you to know where we're going. Then another thing you have to know is skill. These are things, when you understand it, it will help you to understand your purpose. Remember, we are coming from our known to unknown. Purpose is what you do not know, but gift is what you know. So when you look at yourself, now you know the gift you have and you know how it is. Then skill, unlike gift, is something that you learn. It's a learned competence. It's acquired. It's not like gift that you just receive. So a skill is learned. It's learned ability or competence and expertise in something. You learn how to do furniture work, or anything you learn, any skill you acquire is through learning. Now, what is dream? Dream is a series of thoughts or images or sensations occurring in one's mind. Now, dream can be the things you want to do. It is also the things when you are asleep, the activities that go on in your sleep. These are all called dreams. Now, I'm explaining this, or I'm bringing it in, so that because it is from your known, you get your unknown. We know these ones. We have dreams, we have gifts, we have skills, and you know them. But what you don't know is your purpose. So follow me gradually. We are going somewhere. I'm coming. Then when we talk about gifts, so when we talk about gifts now, in discovering of purpose, we pay a lot of attention to our gifts. So when we look at gifts now, we look at the natural gifts. The gifts, you find out that you can do some things. You find out that you're very calculative in nature. You like arithmetic or math, or you can calculate. You find out that you just have this, it's very easy with you. Or you find out that for the other person, you're creative, you can draw, you can write, you can do some other things. These are gifts. Or you find out that you just have this skill, anything that you have to put together, you have a special grace. If something is wrong and you look at it, you're able to discover it faster than the other person. So as we are talking now, begin to notice that gift in you. What is it that you have discovered in you? What can you do better than the other person? Is it cooking? Is it arranging? You know, some people, whenever they enter anywhere, they start arranging. They just look untidy in their eyes. By the time they are done, everywhere looks tidied up. So these are gifts that we have. And as you look at them, it will help you to understand. So the first one is spiritual gifts. Of course, we have spiritual gifts. When we talk about prophecy, I don't want to delve too deep into that. Prophecy, wisdom, and all of that, they are spiritual gifts. And then we have our other ones. Then we have natural gifts, like the ones I have mentioned. You are able to do things better than the other. You have eyes for detail. You're able to see small things that other people cannot see when they look at it. These are different gifts. So right now, the first assignment, I hope we are with our writing materials. Are we? Please, if you are, just say yes. I need feedbacks. It will help me to know that I'm talking. If you have something now, please, you take this note. Make a list of all your gifts and skills. List every natural, spiritual, and other gifts you think you possess. Now, please write it down. Eric, you can also highlight it in the chat room. Make a list of your gifts or skills. When I talk about it, please write it down. You're not helping yourself if you come in and you're not doing anything. And I talk about it. You find that people can sing, write songs, and sing it, and run, and do so many things you see around. Design. So people have this gift of design. Some people have gifts of reading. Some people have gifts of so many things. So whatever you think is your gift, please can you write it down? Can you write it down? That's the first assignment. That's what you're going. These are the things that will help you to discover your purpose, to discover who you are, to discover where. Remember where we're starting. We're starting from unknown to unknown. Our unknown is the gift you have. Your skill and all of that. Our unknown is the purpose. Hopefully, that's where we're going. Like training or things. If you come in on meet. Put down all your natural gifts.
I don't know what to do. I'm not hearing. Okay.
Yeah. Then put on your intellectual gifts. Now, by intellectual gifts, we are looking at it's part of the things I've said before. People that are able to memorize is also gifts, because at times there are some things we just look at the people. We look at musicians. We look at some people we look at. We think they are the people that have gifts, that we don't have gifts. But if you can memorize, it's a gift. If you can dismantle something and put it together again, it's a gift. If you have, because it will point to you the things you can do better. Musicians, carpenters, mechanics, artists. You see, because some people are mechanics. You take your car to them and they are having problems resolving your problem. But you take it to some other people, they have this skill. Immediately they look at it, they get it. That is where gifting and skill work together. So these are all your gifts. Please note them. Then spiritual gifts. I've already said that also, you note it. Then we come to skill. Like I said before, skill is those acquired competence, is a learned ability, those things you learn. So you find out that there are things maybe you go to learn these. There's a lot of skills are around now. You want to learn how to build a website. You want to learn, there's a lot of skills now. But the difference between gifting and skill is that if somebody that is artistic or has that gifting, if that person builds a website, find that is more beautiful because he has the gift and he has also learned the skill. But then skills are everywhere. So the question you ask yourself, what are your own skills? What have you learned? So from the list of things I say, list your own skills. The skills are those things you learned. And then list your own gifts. They are the things you think you have. You didn't need to learn it to have them. Remember, we are going somewhere. Then the next question will come and we'll start asking again is desire. Now, when you come to desire, desire means that thing you long for, that thing you pray for, that thing inside you, you just wish you can do this, you just wish you'll be able to get here. Now, it's just a desire. Maybe you wish you can write a book. You've never written one, but it is just for you, it is a wish. Or maybe you wish you can do one thing or the other. You wish you are this person. You wish you can travel. You know, there are a lot of things we desire a lot privately. In your heart, there are things you want, you're wishing. So note those things. These are the things we are working on this afternoon. Then please, now this is, I think we're going to send this question to you later on so that you can work on them. What would you love to do? Now we are looking at desire, dreams, and desire. Now, this one will now ask you some questions. Now, as you answer these questions, it will help you to understand your dreams and it will help you to understand your desire. Now, your dreams are those things. Maybe I have a dream. I want to do this. I want to reach out to the world. I want to be this. I want to travel all over the world. I want to be a top speaker. I want to be a top conference speaker that they invite me all over. These are desires and dreams. So the first question is, what would you love to do? Now, what is it that you love to do? You're not yet doing it, but you really would like to do it. Now you put the answer. Please, I don't know, maybe you need to do it and you send it to them, because as we are getting it, I want them to get it too. Now, this is a series of questions you're asked, because this is a practical class. That's why I'm saying pay all the attention you need to pay. It's not a time for you to be distracted. What would you love to do? Note it. What is it that if you are doing it, you are happy? What is that? Then another second question that is coming up is, what is that thing that gives you the most joy? That gives you the most joy. You also write it. Remember, now these are a series of questions you need to answer. The other one is, what is the most fulfilling and rewarding of all that you do? When you look around your life now, what is it, that thing that when you're doing it, you get excited, you're happy, you just want to continue on that? What is that? You write it down, because you're going to give me answers on these questions, please, and I will need it tomorrow. It's something you can quickly write and send back to me. Then the next question says, is there something you really want to do but you have never done? You know, at times we desire a lot of things. Is there anything you've been desiring to do but you have not been able to do it? Also notice and let me have it. Then the other one says, do you love your job? What you're doing now, do you like it? Do you love what you're doing? Is another question. Then that thing you're doing, are you just doing it because it's a paycheck? Because of the salary, because of the income you're getting? Is that why you're doing it? If it is so, if it's because of what you're getting, you say it too. Then another question says, if you have an opportunity to do something else, what would you choose to do? If there's a room to do another thing, what would you choose to do? I hope you're paying attention to this question. This question wants to discover our dreams and our desires. Then the next one says, what job would you do? Even if you're not paid, you still do that job. What is that job? Even if you don't get paid, you still do it. Then what are your dreams? You know, people have a lot of dreams. For me, I want to do this. I want to serve humanity. I want to build a rehabilitation center where people will come in and they're reformed. This is my dream. What is your own dream? Then the next question is, do you believe God will let you do what you really want to do? Do you believe that God will let you do that? That's the second to the last question here. And the last question is, then, if you do believe, then why haven't you done the things that you long to do? What is holding you from doing those things that you long to do? So these are a series of questions you need to answer. I don't know if you got all of them. I don't know if you got them. As you get it, you can post it. That's why I need us to chat, so that people that didn't get it can copy it from the chat room and so that other people can get it. So that as soon as you finish this lecture, please sit down and answer those questions. Then the assignment, because it is in all of these things that you will discover yourself. Then dreams and desire. And when you come to dream and desire, you now look at spiritual. Do you have any spiritual desire? This has to do with our relationship with God or with our maker. Then look at it. Then intellect. This area covers your mental capacity, such as learning, thinking, reasoning, knowledge, understanding. Because as we go down, you see how you will group your answers under these categories. One is spiritual. The other one is intellect. You can be putting it down so somebody can pick it up. Another one is on your personality. What kind of a person are you? This area deals with who you are, with your actions, with your emotions, your attitude, how you react. Are you a person of confidence? Are you a person of fear? Are you a person that is always agitated? What kind of a person are you? So these are the things. This thing will help you to begin to look into yourself. And because the first thing in personal development is awareness. Immediately you get aware of who you are, you're on your way to a change. Then another one is physical. Physical deals with physical body, your health, your activities, the way you care for your body. Now you know very well that if you're sick, you won't be able to sit in this training. Now, so it deals with your health. So when you are talking about that, you remember your health. Then social, this includes your relationship in the family, with your spouse, with your colleagues, with friends, with church members and associations. Are you a kind of person that people can easily relate with? What kind of a person are you? So this is social. Then another one is financial. It now deals with you. Deal with your money, your career, your occupation, the investment. What kind of a person are you? How do you handle finance? How do you handle your career? These are questions we are throwing up to you this morning. As you answer them, it will help you to discover who you are. Now, one other thing you must have in mind is that you must believe that whatever desire that you have, it gives you, will be what within his purpose. By the time you look at these desires we're talking about, you look at the gift you have already said before and everything about you, then we also need you to believe that whatever purpose you have will be within these areas. Will be within this area. That's why I say you're using those things, your known thing, to discover the unknown. I'm looking at your gifts, your talent, your desires, your dreams. Now, believe it that your purpose will be within those areas. Then he will not give you purpose and destiny that is strange to you or foreign to your desire. That's another thing you have to know. I was once in a training. Somebody now says that, asks a question, that he discovered that his purpose and what he wants to do, that they are different. Then the question I asked him was, then how did you come about the purpose? Because if you have a purpose that is strange to your desire, the question is, how did you conclude on that purpose? Because these things work together. Follow me as we go. You see how each of these areas complement each other. That's why you know that this is it. And that's why it will tell you that God does not make mistakes in anything. He has everything all planned out. And another thing you know is that do what you love. Whatever desire or dream he gives you, you will love it. And that's what I want you to know. You find out that by the time you look at your desire and your dream, it's something which you're doing it, you're happy about it. Now, it's also an indication that it's part of what God probably wants you to do, because the love for it will be there. That's why you see some people, they have some work with the other person, it will look strange. Why does he like doing this thing? And when you talk with that person, the person is so excited about it. It's about the person. So, but that's why it's that person. So, but the one you should know is that you have love for that person. And why are you not doing what you love to do? That's another question. Eric, are you picking the questions? And why are you not doing what you love to do? So the next question you ask yourself, if you have known some of these things, you have this desire, you have this dream, you have this gifting, then why are you not doing what you love to do? That's the next question you ask yourself. So that brings us to the next assignment. I'm actually rushing because we need to cover some things. And I said, take your gifts. I hope you remember. By the time you have listed your gifts, take your skills. You have listed your skills. And again, you find out that if you don't have skills to list, it will not tell you how empty you have been. That you don't have skills you can list. It means that you haven't been able to learn anything. It shows you that how unprepared you are. So take your gifts now, take your skills, take your dreams or desires, place them in a tabular form. You can look at this table now. You write them like that. Then this one is saying, when you write all the things you think, all the gifts you think you have. If you can jump, if you can fly, if you can write well, if you can design, all of them are gifts. Singing, playing an instrument, and all of that, they are all gifts. Then write out your skills too. Write it out. Then write out your dreams, the things you want to do, you have not been able to do, write it out. Now, this last table says you now arrange them in this order: the top skill, top gifts, top skills, and top desires. Top desires. So you will see, you will now see the ones that are dominant. You know, you have a lot of people, they are the ones that you see when people that know you, whenever they see you, they know, this one. Or if they are asking, who can do this thing for us? Everybody will say, you can do it. Who will write for us? Everybody will point at you. It means that that skill is dominant, that any person that comes close to you quickly notice that you can do that. So you arrange it in this form. By then, you now be able to notice your first 4, 5 top skills, or your first 4, 5 top skills, and your first 4, 5 top desires. You're able to find out that. Then place, of course, place them there. I just said that now. Then another thing that will help us to understand this purpose again is unique languages. Again, you find out that if you're a Christian, at times you find out that you have a dream, or you can have what we call vision or trance. You might just be there and something will play out. It's not even only Christian, everybody who have vision. Then you have thoughts. Thoughts flow into our heads. There's so many thoughts. In fact, they say that average man in a day will have up to 65,000 thoughts in a day. You have thoughts coming, both good thoughts and evil thoughts. Just flashes your mind like that. Then you have ideas, like we talked on the first day, we were looking at idea generation. You have something that dropped in your mind, ideas. Maybe you can do this, this will come, it flashes through your mind. Then you have visions. Visions are the ones you maybe when you are awake, as if you're seeing something, but you're awake or half asleep, all of that looks like a dream, or even real dreams when you're really sleeping, you have. Now, these are ways God will also, or nature, if I put that word, because it's not only for those who don't believe in God. Everybody sees dreams, everybody dreams, everybody sees vision, everybody gets thoughts, everybody gets ideas. So there's a way nature also communicates with us. You find out that people, before something happens, would have dreamt over and over about that thing, and that thing will begin to worry you. So what am I? Why am I dreaming about this thing? So these are other unique languages that we also need to do what? Take note of. So apart from your gift, apart from your desires, apart from skills, other important thing you should note is thoughts, desires, ideas, visions, dreams. It's very important that you note them. These other ways nature plants or communicates with us and reminds us or shows up of things we want us to do through these unique languages. Now, the first experiment is that take a moment right now at your earliest possible time, okay? Now, this one is if you believe in God. But even if you don't believe, whatever you believe in, you begin to, if you are somebody that, used to have dreams of something a lot, then you can also ask God or whoever you believe in, please bring more understanding to these things that I'm having constantly, so that it will be clearer to you. As you listen, then another thing you must do as you want to discover yourself is that always have your writing material beside you. In fact, if you want to engage in personal development, writing will be a part of you. Always have your jotter where you're writing, because ideas will drop at a time you're not expecting, or your phone. You're very free writing with your phone. You do that. So you listen and do that. So what you need to do is for 10 minutes, you listen to yourself, you pay attention. By the time you have done all of these things, you pay attention to the thoughts in your heart, the ideas you have, the images that flashes through your mind, the things that, these are the different ways you get inspiration to do something, to hear something. But at times we overlook them, we look down on them, we don't take it seriously. But this time around, you're not going to overlook them any longer or look down on it. You take it seriously because you are trying to discover who you are. Another thing like imagination. Now, this is where imagination comes in. You need to, because if you're somebody that most of the time you have imagined things, it comes, flashes through your mind. Those things you don't have to take it for granted. You do what you pay attention to a lot to understand where we are going. Now, when we come to imagination, we are going, like when we are going to do visualization, you understand that better. So you can imagine, by the time you have looked at all of these things, you looked at your thoughts, your desires, your ideas, your dreams, your vision, you look at your skills, even, your gifts, even your skills. By the time you look at it, now begin to imagine, what kind of a person are you? Looking at all of that, you'll be able to answer that question. Please, somebody should know these questions. It's an exercise question. What kind of a person are you? We are now imagining. You are still at that imagination level. Then, assuming you have probably lived your life or done something, and you're somewhere else examining your activity, then the question is, who did you work with? Assuming yourself, what kind of work, who were the best people you work with? Because our environment, the family background we come from, these are the things that shape us. Then, where did you live? You remember, we are not imagining. We are still at that imagination level. You put it down. How did you affect the world? How did you affect the world? Remember the first question we asked. It was asking you what you desire. So when you're answering this question now, looking at yourself like you have lived your life and you are somewhere, this question is now thrown back to you. How did you affect the world? Then another question is, which of your accomplishments, that's fifth question now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth one. Which of your accomplishments will continue to produce results that will help people and bring glory to God, even after you're dead, or change humanity? Which of the accomplishments will you look back, even when you're not there, find out that these things are still working, people are still benefiting? Maybe you have written a book, and even when you're no more there, your book is still changing lives. Maybe you have a song, even as you are dead, the song, people are still benefiting from that song. So these are the kind of things. I'm just using that as an example. You can have other things. These are the things you need to put in that place. Then the last question on this page now says, how will you set the legacy in motion before you die? Now, these things that you desire, how will you ensure that you do it? What will you do to ensure that these things are in place, or you kickstart this before you die? This is another question you need to answer. Now, honestly, in discovering purposes, that's why my workbook that is coming up is very important. To have that as you're reading it, you are getting it. Now, when you have all of those things written out, itemized, you know where we started. Now, you now need to also be, because we also need to be sure, you need to confirm. If you're a Christian who believes in prayer, you pray, and then you know how God speaks to you is a way of confirmation. Then another thing that will give you confirmation is what the inner peace. There are some things that about when you're doing it, you're just at peace, you're comfortable, you're not worried at all. But there are some things you're doing, you're agitated, you're so worried, you're so unsettled about it. But inner peace is one indication that you are on the right side. And another thing is wise counsel. Now, there are situations where you need to get a coach, or you need to get a counselor, or you need to get a mentor, somebody who is above, who can also talk to you, especially in that dimension. Not at this stage, your mind is already tilting to somewhere. Okay, it looks like this and this and this is what I think I'm being directed to. Now, in that line, you can also find somebody who is in that area who can help you. Or you find a coach who is able to know how to help people struggling discover who they are, you know. Or find a mentor. Then you look at other things, because other supernatural happenings, it can be like things happening at the same time, all going to strengthen the fact that this is what you want to do. It could be somebody coming to say that, or coming to say something that confirms in your mind that, this is it. So when you see all of those, that these are indication or confirmation that will help you to on that belief that yes, this is the right path and take it. And in all of them, also there's need for also timing. Timing is also very important of that confirmation. Then which brings us to the last one, which is the why. Now at this stage, you have probably been looking at somewhere. This is okay. This is something that it looks like I find joy in doing. I find joy in helping people. I find joy in making sure that people in need are attended to. I find joy in singing. It gives me much pleasure. You know, you begin to find the things you look at based on all of these things I have listed earlier. Then, these 5 pillars is also something that will help you to strengthen those things. Then why do you need? Because every purpose is solving a problem, is fulfilling a mission. So what is my why? Why am I doing this? Why am I going to do this? Now begin because you need to find out, they call it the 5 W's and 1 H, or the 5 pillars that will help you to understand every purpose or every cause you want to take up. The question is, what is that? First question is, what is that? By the time we come to this conclusion, you are now beginning to understand, okay, I think my purpose is this. I think my purpose is helping people. I think my purpose is this. When you get to that, then that's when the other why will come. Why is it this? I'm going to do it because I will need this kind of people. I will help them to come back to God. Like me, my purpose is helping the needy, helping the dysfunctional to do what? To bring them back to life. That is my why. You must understand your why. And if you understand your why, it will help you to move on. My purpose is to help people also discover themselves. You must understand your why. And then you also understand who. The who here is the people you are sent to, the people you are supposed to talk to. You must know them because it will help you to eliminate distractions. It will help you to eliminate activities that are not necessary. It will help you to eliminate all of those things. The who are the people that you need to attend to. Then the next one is when, because it's also important to understand timing. At times, when you hear something, you jump at it without getting timing will help you to get prepared for it. Because if you're going to do some things, you need preparation. And if you're not prepared yet, you won't be able to achieve that purpose. So the timing here will determine preparation. It determines when of the execution of that task. And the next one is the where. Where are you going to do it? Where? Which people? Where are they? Who is the person? Where are they located? What platform am I going to use? These are the questions you answer when you're answering when. If it's a business, because initially, the one thing you must know about purpose is that it is to serve humanity. And as you're serving humanity, you are also serving yourself. As you serve humanity, see how it comes back to you. So where? Is there a platform? Is it something you have to do online? Where are you? These are the things that determines where are the people. If you find out where they are, then the question of how the method or medium or means of reaching out to them, you will also find it. That's why in all of this, you need to sit down and with your Bible and write. As you're writing, it will help you to understand. Then the last question is the how. How are you going to do it? You need to figure it out, and it is inside that you answer all of these questions. The what, the why, the who, the when, the where, and how. Exactly how are you supposed to do it? So when you get all of these things, it will help you to know how to do it well. I don't know if we have questions. Let me see what is on the platform. Okay, Good, Eric is putting it on. So these are the questions. I'm actually done with this because I want to move up to the next slide. But if we have any question we want to ask on this thing, any of these areas, then please ask. Any question? You can unmute yourself and ask the question. No question. Okay. Are we good? Let me move to the other one. For the next one, I'm going to be looking at now is vision. But now that you have an idea of what your purpose will possibly look like, because at this point, you're not every inkling, you're yes, it's okay. Now, with that, we'll move to the next thing, which is vision. Hello. Okay. I hope you can see me. So I'm going to the next slide. I'm moving to the next slide, which is a vision. Please, if you're hearing me, you say something. Can you hear me? Okay. So we're moving over to the next one, which is vision. We just ended with purpose now. Now, what are you going to learn? You will learn what is vision, how vision shapes your goal, and then envisioning and vision board. That's what we're going to learn in this one. Then what is vision? Now, vision is the ability to see something, that you imagine, a picture that you see in your mind. That's vision. I think it's just simple explanation. The ability to see something you can imagine in your mind. If you can see a picture, that is vision. Now, vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. Vision has more clarity than dreams. You know, the difference between vision and dream is that there's plan in vision. When you have a vision, you have a plan how to achieve that vision. But when you have a dream is just vague. There's no plan. It's just like when you want to say, I want to be able to go on vacation to Bahamas. And you did not plan to act. So when I say is a vision, then I now set in motion the plans that will help me to make money enough to go to Bahamas. That is vision. The vision is the end result, not the process itself. The end result, that's what you want to achieve, is not the process. Vision is taking your future and bringing it in the present, you know, so you can plan the process there. You know, when you know this is what I want to do, or by the end of the year, I want to do this, I want to do this. So is that end result that is the vision? Then it's like bringing that end result into your present. Then vision will now help you to do what? To make a plan to achieve that. Then vision is not goal. It takes a series of goals to achieve a vision. Now, for you to achieve that vision, it now means that you need to do what? Have goals. You have plans. You have things you need to do to help you achieve that vision. So vision is the end result. Now, how does purpose shape your vision? Now, when you understand your purpose, you will now begin to have a vision that is in line with your purpose. Your vision helps you to achieve your purpose. Now, when you are setting a vision now, it's easier for you to set that vision that is in line with what you think that is your purpose. No more like your purpose is this way and your vision is that way. At the end of the day, you see the clarity and your purpose. Now, vision will now tell you, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I have to go and do it. It gives clarity to that purpose, what you have set out to do. By the end of this period, I would have achieved this, I would have achieved that. You know clearly in your mind, this is what I want to achieve. That vision, it brings clarity. It helps you to see the finished product of your purposeful journey through life. Be able to look at from here, you can envision, this is what I want to do at the end of this year, or in the next 2 years, I would have been able to do this, do that. You can see it, and then you start working towards it. Like me, I have a 5-year plan now. At the end of 5 years, I want to have written up to 6 books. I want to have gone this place, done this. There are so many things I planned. Now it is my vision. So at the end of that 5 years, I want to see all of those things. Now, vision will now make you to begin to plan. How do you intend to achieve that? Then the clearer you are in your purpose, the more vivid your vision will become. So if you understand your purpose clearly, then it will help you to have a clearer vision. Purpose must be understood. Because you see where we're going. That's why we did the purpose first before the vision. And if you can take time, please, if you want to achieve the result of this class, please take time and go through those things. Somebody answered, okay. Then the next one is aligning your goals your vision and your purpose. Now you see the purpose is the first thing. Following it is the vision. The next one is goal. Now, goal is something that we set to help us achieve our vision. Like if I want, then there are things, processes that will help me to achieve those things. They are the goals. Now break it down. How do I achieve them? We're going to get to that. How you get to, break it down. So you find that if you look at the arrow, one is going this way, one is going the other way. It means that they all work together. They work with each other. And there's no how you can have clear vision without understanding where you're going. And there's no how you can have goals without knowing the vision. It is when you know the purpose that you create goals that will fulfill the purpose. And then you have, vision that will fulfill the purpose. And then the goals that will help you to achieve the vision, they go this way. But the beginning of all of this is what? Awareness. You have to begin to be aware. This is what I want to do. This is where I'm going. This is how I want to do it. That is the beginning point. As you have that in mind, it will help you to do what? To understand where we're going. Now, the next question is envisioning your future. Your future is, like we said, a vision is your future that you brought, you take your future from where they are and bring it to the present. Now, can you do that? Can you imagine yourself that you are here? This is what you want to achieve. Maybe in the next 1 year or two, you have a plan. It's wrong for you to live without a plan or vision of what you want to do. And it's even more horrible if there are no goals you have set. Because as you go down, we're going to break it down so that you understand how you can set these goals to achieve your vision. Now we want a vision. I want us to do one exercise we are used to. We call it visualization exercise. I want all the participants now, please, are we together? Please, if you're here, answer. Nobody is responding, and I really don't like it. I want to be sure that you're responding. You know what to do? So we want to do visualization. So what is that thing in your plan? What is that vision? What is your purpose? Visualization exercise now will take us to, I want us to pause now and then probably close your eyes. I don't know how many people are still looking up here, and do what? And begin to envision yourself. That's what visualization exercise means. Remember we said that you're bringing your future to your present. What do you want to achieve? How do you want to achieve it? Begin to imagine, I want to do this, I want to do that. You bring it to your present. That's visualization. At the end of the year, at the end of the by end of next year, I want to do this, I want to do that. Can you see it? Can you see where you want to go to? Can you see where is pointing to you? This is what visualization is all about. And then it takes us to the next one, which is vision board. Vision board. Now, another thing, because honestly, as human beings, it's very easy to forget these things and just drop it and just continue. And before you know it, we're already in August. So vision is collage pictures, images, affirmations, dreams, and desires that you have designed in such a way that you start. Then you write out you bring out those ideas of vision you have, put it in chalk form, image form, affirmation. Affirmations, those things you tell yourself, I am a success, it is possible. You can put it down. Or you tell yourself, I'm a change maker. These are your affirmations. When you're writing down an ambition for something in place,
Jesus. I'm not hearing again. Machala. I can change the person. I'm changing over.
So vision board is what you create it by yourself. Let's show us a picture of a vision board. This is something that somebody created. My own is in the bed. That's why it's not yet ready. They look at it. You just write different things of what you put it in somewhere, you create it button for my. Okay. It's okay. So look at my own board. I'm just about to do this, but I want to put it in a strategic position where I will always remember it. It's very important if you believe, if you want to do something serious about your personal development, these are the measures you take. So vision board is a collage of what? Pictures, images, affirmations, dreams, desires. You put it in a pictorial form and place it in a place where you constantly see it, and it will remind you of your activity, to remind you of your vision, and it will make you to always work towards that. So this is about vision. So you need to create your vision board. You also even need to create your vision first before creating the board, because without it, you won't be able to create the board. This is what we're saying this morning. So remember where we started? We started with purpose, and now we're bringing vision in. And then we're going to go to goals and intention. You see how all of them are linked together. So I'm going to change the slide now. I'll be back with you in a moment. Please, if you have questions in any of them, please, you can ask. Okay, now we are back. Sorry for the break. So the last thing we are going to be looking at is goals and intention. Now, this is what will help us to remember what we said. We discovered purpose. We talked about vision. Then we are talking about. Oh, okay. I didn't talk about. Okay, let me do this, and I'll go back to identity. So this is the third one. Sorry. So we are looking at goals now, because these goals and intention will help you to achieve your purpose and your vision. Okay, so sorry, it's even identity. Sorry. No, the identity is not even good. Okay, sorry. This is what I wanted. Identity. Now, when we talk about who you are, is very key to how far you can go and how well you can achieve your purpose, who you are. So many of us, our person is destroying us, and it's also it's able to also destroy our vision. You see some people with great vision, they know they have great vision, but at times you wonder why they didn't go far. It's because of identity, who they are. So what is identity? Identity is who you are, the way you think about yourself, and the way you are viewed by the world. Identity is the qualities, beliefs, personality, looks, and or expressions of a person as emphasized by a psychologist. Now, identity is who you are. I've seen a lot of people with great vision, but they didn't go far. So it's about who you are, the way you think about yourself, and the way the world view you. Because most times we think noble about ourselves, we think good about ourselves. Most times you are fine with you, even when you have serious character flaws, but within you, you're okay. So it's also important for you to know the way the world view you. It's important because it's that way that is even your true self. If you can ask 5 people who are mine, and they're able to tell you one thing consistently, then that's probably who you are. But you might find out that you may not even know or think that that is who you are. But if up to 5 people are saying the same thing about you, then know that that is who you are. Now, identity helps you to understand yourself, and your identity will go a long way in your vision, in helping you fulfill your vision. So identity is talking about your qualities, the kind of person you are, your character, are you somebody to deal with, your belief, your personality, your expression. These are the things you discover in identity. Identity also relates to self-worth or self-image or self-esteem. You find out that some people, they have very low self-esteem. And because of that low self-esteem, it's difficult to take them to where you want them to be. Some people, they have very superior esteem. Or I don't know how to put it, but they just feel too full of themselves, too good of themselves, not even knowing the way of people view them. So you have to be sure that you are viewed correctly. Then a person can either adopt an empowering or disempowering identity. Again, you find that your identity is also important. A person's identity determines how he will react or respond or create outcomes in your life. Your identity is very key. How you respond to things, how you create outcomes, how you create your own vision, how you even fulfill it goes a long way to say something about your identity. You find out that with some people, you stay with them, their identity is disempowering. Immediately they become, they are pessimistic, they don't believe, they are doubtful, they are fearful, they are not able to do something. They will always see why it will not work. That's with some people. So your identity is very, very important. Then how the right identity affects your goal. Now look at it. When you have right identity, there's a likelihood that it will affect your goal positively. As a man thinketh, so is he. Whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, that he can achieve. You see how your identity can go far. Your identity can determine how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of doing. Now, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't ever see good in yourself, you may not be able to achieve much in your life. That is how far your identity can affect you. Now, when we talk about identity, we have what we call the 6 logical levels of change. The first one is starting from the environment. Who am I? We come back with that question again. Now, one question you have to be asking yourself in personal development is self-aware. Self-aware will begin to ask you this question all the time, packing your load from one environment and moving to the other. That is environment. Who am I? It's back to the questions we ask in Google. What am I doing? So I'm asking you now, what are you doing right now? What is it that you're doing? It's a question you have to ask yourself. Now it deals with behaviors. Sometimes depending on your behavior, what is it speaking about you? It takes you to the next question. What do I know how to do? What skills do I have? Now the next question is, what skills do you have? When in the age of skill, people are learning different things. What have you learned? What can you put up? What can you add to what you have? It talks about capabilities. So it's another level of change. These are the different levels of change that people will go from. The first level of who you are, of nothing, is taking you up to the higher level where you begin to acquire different skills. So what do you know now? Is there only one thing that you know how to do? Or can you do another thing in an age that people can do so many things? So what else can you do? What is important? What is important to me? What do I expect in a given situation? Then it also is about your values, it's about your belief. But this is very key to of who you are. If you don't have the right values and the right belief system, there is high tendency that you go the other way. But if you have the right belief and right attitude, it will help you then. Why am I here for? What am I part of? This greater thing than myself. You find that it's still the same question. As you're answering these questions, the first question is in a general level. It begins to take you up until it takes you up to the last question, which is bringing you back your want, your purpose, your vision, to who you really are, to that thing that God had in mind when He brought you here. So that is the different changes we go through. The first question, the first awareness is who am I? And it's important you answer that question. Then if you have a positive identity, you ultimately produce positive outcomes. The more empowering your thoughts are, the more positive your goals and your outcomes will be. If you believe you are worthy of a particular outcome, you are more inclined to set it as goal and actually pursue it. The reverse is the case if you do not believe. So the point is, if you have a positive identity, if you have an empowering identity, if you have a positive identity who believes, the most likelihood is that your outcomes will be that way. But if you have the other identity that is empowering, it's also possible that your outcomes will be the result. You may not even have reasonable outcomes. The truth is that, like strategy, they say that not even having a strategy is on its own a strategy. So wherever you are, wherever you put yourself, you get the kind of outcome you are. So whatever outcome you're getting is what you are. Don't get angry about it. It's what you are. So the next question is, like I said, what personal development will make you is to be conscious, to be aware. Begin to see your emptiness. Begin to say, okay, I don't even have much skills. Okay, where do I start? It will help you to begin to place you on where you need to start. Then the next one is identity and managing your vision. Identity, affecting change at the identity level is more difficult than changing behavior, but it has the most lasting effect. Of course, changing your identity is not easy. At times you want to do something, you know you need to do something, but somehow you're not able to do that. That's that level. But awareness is the first step to changing your identity. So the first thing you will get out of this whole thing is self-awareness of where you to assess yourself critically. This is where I am, and it is not for it's for. This is where I need to be. What do I do to do that? Then the next thing is conscious installation of programs, anchors, patterns. Take time to practice, must be done. Like when we are talking about yesterday on mindset, we talked about patterns. Patterns are those things that we are exposed to, that we are those repetitions that formed us. And that is what created the kind of mindset we have. Now, when we realize these patterns that are negative, we begin to consciously begin to install programs that are positive. Then anchors are those things we have hinged on, we have anchored on. Then we begin to know, are they positive? Are they helping us? Are they empowering? Begin to make installations of those anchors and then begin to do what? Practice it. It's not easy. It's like a new lifestyle, like an old man trying to learn to walk. Learning to walk is step by step. So when an old man starts, it's still the same way. But it's about taking time to do what? To practice. And that practice must be done daily. You make out time and find out what you need to do and what you need not to do. So identity is very key. How you manage your vision will determine how your identity will be. Then of course, it is easy to slip back into old patterns if you lose focus or consciousness. It is very easy to slip back into old patterns. Remember where we started? Patterns, they are repetition. These are the systems our body is used to. And it's very easy to slip back into those old patterns if you do not consciously open them. Then of course, one thing that can help you is daily journaling, writing your goals, reaching out them out loud, and positive affirmations are great steps to living yourself and carrying out your visions. Remember where we are starting. We are looking at how your identity can help you fulfill your vision. So these are the things, those old patterns, begin to install new patterns and practice daily. Put up then what next we have is exercise and home play. Now, please, if you don't do these things, it won't help you. What is it going to do? Who have you said that? Who are you before? And who are you now? Since after hearing these things, are you able to write, this is who I am? What kind of pattern, what kind of identity do I have before? And what kind of identity do I want to pick up? Then who do you see yourself becoming? That's the second question. Who are you? And who are you going to be? Now, how far are you from your real identity? You know, at times we all want to be, but your real identity is what you do every day. How you say something and do the other thing, that's who you are. It's not what is in your potential, because really, we don't know what is in your mind. What we can see is the actions you take, is your response, is your reaction. So what is your identity? When people look at you, what do they see? Who do they see? It's what they see that is who you are. Is that identity empowering? Empowering. These are the things we are looking at now. So what do you need to have to do to become your ideal self? The kind of person you want to be, what do you need to do? Remember where we started? We started from discovering purpose. We have talked about vision. We have talked about, and we are now talking about identity, how they all work together. You cannot, your purpose shapes your vision, and your vision shapes your goal. And ultimately, your identity. You find out how everything is linked together, and how if one is not working, how the other ones may not go together. And this is very critical to who we are. And if we want to engage in personal development, the first thing to do is self-aware, self-acceptance. This is who I am, where I am now. Where am I now? Where am I going? That is the first question. If you can answer that question, it will help you know the areas you need to do something about yourself and how you need to, get against it. And so we're going to go to the last one, which is goals and intention. When we do that, we can now take questions from purpose, from vision, from an identity, and then goals and intention. Now, goals and intention is very critical. I want us to pay close attention to it, because most of the time, why we do not achieve our vision or even purpose is because of goals and intention. That is where the thing is. things we do every day. That is why we need to know that. So I'm going to change the slide now. So hold on, and then I'll be back with you. So we are at the last one now. Goals and intentions. See, they all work together. So we are going to be looking at how this thing will affect our purpose. So what we are going to learn in this class is what are goals, goals versus intention, setting your goals, making commitments, exercise, and home play. These are what we're going to be getting. Then what is goal? Now, goal is an ideal of the future or desired result that a person or a group of people envisioned, planned, and commit to achieve. Remember where we started? Goal is that ideal of the future or desired result you want to get. Goals have deadlines and defined processes of achieving them. A goal is a dream with deadlines and a plan of action. Goals are clear and when the vision is known. A goal is the end result of series of planned action. Now, let me explain. Now, unlike a dream, goals are clearer. You know where you're going. You have a plan and you have deadline. Unlike dream is just vague. I just want to do this. And when we say that, I find out that you didn't even do anything about it. It's just a wish most of the time. It's not what, but goal is something you have and you plan to achieve the goal. So this is the difference. And goal, remember where we started? Goal is when you have a vision, you break it down into goals. We are going to get to that. Then means goals and end goals. Means goals are goals you set that are not the end result itself, but means an end. Now, means goal is what you would do to achieve something. Like, for instance, you said, my goal is to make $100,000 is a goal. Now, end goal is what are you going to use that money to do? You know, because at times you just make a goal because what you want to use it to do will help you to work towards that goal. Now, when you want to say, okay, I want to make this amount of money because I want to go on vacation, that is the end goal. Meaning that if I don't make that amount of money, I will not go on vacation. So that is the end goal. I want us to understand the means goal, what you need to do, and end goal, what you do. So end goal can be, you can get your goal if you don't do what you plan to do with that money. You find out that you didn't achieve that the end goal. That is just what this place is saying. Then of course, SMART goals, you are very conversant with that. You will be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, but what we have here is resolute. But most times, if you really want to achieve goals, if you make it so realistic, better that you may not even do it, you just want to do that thing that you're comfortable with. But if you're resolute about it, you find out that you go a long way to achieving your goals. And then, of course, time bound. Most of the time, the problem we have is to set these things and achieve it at the stipulated time. Time bound. Specific. Is that goal specific? What do I want to do this year? We have remaining 4 months. Because what is in my goal? What that specific? Maybe I want to sell this thing. I want to have sold some digital product. I want to have trained 10 people or 20 people. I want to. Is it specific? You have to be specific about the goal. Because if you're not specific, you might not even be able to put it up. You know. An example of it is because some goals are just goals you just put there because you want nice to have goals. You just put it, okay, I want to make about this amount. If you're not specific about it, you may not be able to achieve that goal. So your goal most of the time must expand, because if you don't exceed your capacity, it's possible you may not even achieve it, knowing how things are at times. So what you mean, you set a goal that will be a little above. That's why that it should be realistic. Because if you just work on that, you may just put something that will help you to be comfortable. And whenever you're too comfortable, you may end up not achieving your goal. Now, setting your goal. How do you set your goal? In a simple way, you set one goal. That's what we call the 1-4-4 method of setting goals. You set one goal, then you have 4 benchmarks and 4 activities to do what? To achieving the goals. Like for instance, you can say, okay, I want to make say 100,000 in a month. Then how do you want to make it? You can now say the benchmark is every week. I want to make 25,000. Then what is the activities that will around that? That is 1-4-4. So 1 goal, 4 benchmarks, and 4 activities. And most of the time, if you're able to break it down, so that's why most of the time you find out that our goals are not working because you're not able to break it closer to you. You can just say, okay, I want to write 5 books at the end of the year. Now, or sorry, let me say, then at the first quarter, what do you want to do? Maybe 1 book in a quarter. If you can break it down, then in a quarter, how do you want to do that? Maybe you have to read this amount of time in a week. You have to write every 2-3 hours. You break it down. So when you have 1 goal and 4 benchmarks, then you're able to set a proper goal. And now you know in setting goals, you have like up to about 8 categories. You talk about your health, you talk about family, finance, spiritual, business. You can put it, so you find that in each category, you have a goal, you have benchmark, and you have activities. It will help you to achieve these goals. But if you just leave it like that loosely, it will look more like a prayer point, but there's no action plan. I want to say, I want to do this. You didn't put in that goal how you want to achieve it. I want to buy a car. How do you want to buy the car? You didn't state it. I want to do this. I want to build a house. What did you put down to do that? I didn't state it. So each of the goals you set, you now put 1 goal, 4 benchmarks, and 4 activities. It will just help you to break it down so that you can say, in a year, we have 4 quarters. In the first quarter, I want to do this. In the second quarter, I want to do the third quarter. So that by the time you come to the last quarter, you'll be able to achieve that goal you have set. So that's the 4. And each of the benchmark, you now put 4 activities. They call it 1-4-4 method. So that method will help you to set your proper goals. I hope you're learning, because one of the home plays is setting your goals and using this method. Then set all the intentions that you like in a daily journal. So now the intentions are the small things you need to do. Maybe you need to wake up early because, like according to James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, he said that just small things, just waking up, what changed his life was waking up early and be consistent about it. Maybe waking up early and sleeping early will not give you room to be able to work in the night. That alone, these are small activities. Or maybe I want to attend these functions, I want to read these books, I want to do this. You put down 4 activities you want to do, 4 activities. Then intentions are the things that you need to do to help you fulfill those activities. And then you shouldn't put up a lot of intention in a day because it might even be a hindrance. And you find out that you might be pushing the intentions and you then forget the real goals. So that's how you can see. The example of intentions are like, I will connect with 5 influencers every month, or 5 people that will help me to move forward. I will buy 100, I will take my books off, what I'm going to do, I will take it to speaking engagements. I will read 2 books every month. I will join, I will buy some courses. These are intentions. So by the time you come in a month, or in a week, these are the things I want to do. They are the things that will help you to achieve the goal. And at times, some intentions are not measurable because that maybe there are some intentions that you have, okay, you may not be able to measure it, but at the end of the day, if you're able to fulfill it, it will help you to achieve your goal. So if you're able to create intention, at least a 10 of it or less than that will help you in a day. Your intention must align with your goals. Your intention must help you in the achievement of your goals and not serve as a because of course you might be pursuing the intentions and now forget the real goals that made you to set the intention. Then don't be so focused and overwhelmed with intention that you forget. Of course, do not set more than 10 intentions for a goal or for your goals. You can actually do them. So you don't set too much intention. But what we are talking about intention is bringing it down. So most times, you see why our goals are not been working because you just set goals with no specific plan and program to ensure that those things work. But if you set a goal, you have 4 benchmarks, you break it down, and then have 4 activities, and now you have intention. Intentions are those daily things you do every day that will take you 1 inch forward to your goal. Then track your growth against your intentions. So as you're going, you begin to look at them. Your intentions and your growth are there together. They have daily, weekly, monthly, half yearly, annually reviews of your goals and intentions. Weekly, at the end of every week, you check out what did I plan to do this week? Did I achieve it? Every month, you have monthly review. Every quarter, you have quarterly review. Honestly, if you begin to live lives like this, you see how better it will be and how close. And then it will help us to review goals and see the goals that are working and the ones that are not working. Then if an intention is no longer serves your goal, then you drop it, of course. And if you read to include the intention again, if you need to include it again, you bring it back. So if you need to bring it back, but what we are saying is breaking our goals down. This is one of the major reasons why we are not achieving our goals most of the time, because it's not broken down in this way. Then of course, commitment. No matter how you break it down, you must make the commitment by yourself to achieve those goals. And how do you do it? It's one thing to set goals, is another thing to actually commit to it. Are your goals non-negotiable or just nice to have? Just put it there. It's just good to have a goal, so that when they ask, I also have goals. Or is it that it is a no-no, it must be met? So if you come to that point, that's when you drive yourself to meet your goals. Then value drives commitment and discipline. Of course, what are your values? What are your values? Are they the things that will help you to achieve those goals? Then lifestyle change will also help out. You find out that for you to achieve some goals, you must have a lifestyle change. Maybe the kind of people you hang out with, you find out that they're not going the same direction you're going. Or the kind of activities, or maybe you watch a lot of movies, you find out it will not help you to achieve your goals. So it needs a lifestyle change. then what are you going to adjust? So this is where your commitment is. Or you read a lot. Maybe these days social media is another thing taking our time. What are you doing in social media? These are the questions you ask yourself. Or you are just there reading other people's articles. Are people reading your own? Are you writing? So these are the things that will help you to check your goals. Because if you don't check it in this dimension, just find out that you're living. At the end of the year, you find out you've not added. So how will you set personal who can achieve these goals? So it also needs you to set your personal development goals. You see, because by the time you come into that, you find out that you need to know a lot of things, you need to do a lot of things. And how do you do it? It's only when you set this kind of goal that you know. Then the habit, what habit will you drop? Or what new habits are you picking up? When we talk about if you want change in your life, self-aware is the first thing. Assessment, know where you are, they know what to pick. Then how will you discipline yourself when you miss your benchmark or timeline to be able to achieve the goal? Like if you have missed your benchmark or timeline, then you discipline yourself. Maybe you say, I'm not going to go into any social media platform to read anything until I have done it. There has to be some discipline. If you don't put discipline, you find out that you'll be missing your benchmark and timelines. And maybe it turns to normal and you quickly forget that you had even had a goal or intentions to fulfill. So what am I saying this afternoon? We started from, because I'm concluding now, we started from purpose. Purpose is discovering yourself. You have a lot of questions that you need to ask. As you're answering that question, it will help you to discover who you are. Then we came to what? Visions. You can never do much without having vision. What is your own vision? You cannot go far without having vision. After this class, I have home place. You write out your vision. This is what you want to do. This is where I want to be. I will also give us a home play here. Then it now brings us to what? To your identity. Who are you? Who you are is very, very important. Some people are not serious. They are always procrastinating. Now, like this home place, I will do it, and you never get to do it. And that would be this whole exercise will be just wasted data and wasted time because you don't ever take anything seriously. Nobody, of course, you're a mature person, nobody is requiring it from you. And that would be the end. And the truth is that you are putting a halt to the growth of your life. So who are you? What kind of a person are you? What kind of identity do you have? Is it disempowering? Is it empowering? What kind of beliefs? Is it helping you? Is it taken away from you? Your identity is very important. Are you a committed person? You commit to something. When you want to do something, you do it, or you just say it and you don't come back. When some people give me promise, I don't take it seriously. Why? Because over time, they have not shown that I could take it seriously. But some other people give me promise, I'll take it seriously. What kind of a person are you? Because identity is what people say of you. How people view you, that is your identity. It's not what you think of yourself. It's when some other person tells you, analyzes you, that is who you are. How do they view you? Do they view you as serious? And the truth is that if you're a serious person, they will never think of when serious things come, you can never be remembered because serious things cannot be committed in your hand. So what is your identity? What do you display? What can people talk about you? What levels of change have you come? Is it at the first level? Have you come to that level of belief, that level of you have strong values and integrity that people can work with you? That is about identity. The next one is that vision. Would you even have a vision? This is we are entering the last quarter in a few days of this year. Granted, COVID did what? A lot of us are calling COVID. Yes, so many people, not an excuse. So what are you? Do you have a vision? What is your short-term vision? What is your long-term vision? Is it written down? Where are they? How do you intend? What do you want to do? Remember, we talked about giftings. The different giftings you have. What are you, or how are you going to apply or use them, or use them to make something for you? Then the last one we are talking about is goals and intention. Remember the method I said now, 144 method. 144 is 1 goal, 4 benchmarks, and 4 activities. So if you create a goal, what are the benchmarks? Maybe you say in a year, I want to make 5 million. Then how do you want to break it down? Every quarter, it means that you have to make what? Amount of money that so that in a year you make 5 million. Then in that quarter, what are the activities? What are you going to do? What are the businesses you want to do? It will help you to begin to think out of the box. It will make you to begin to think other means of making income. It will help you to not to fold your hands again and just wait and keep waiting. So what is your benchmark? Then the next thing is, after the benchmark, that is the 144. The other things are your intentions. Every day, what are you doing daily to ensure that the vision you have, that you meet it up? What is your everyday activity? What do you do? At the end of the day, do you reassess or reappraise yourself? This is what I have done. The next week, what am I going to do? Do you do any form of reappraisal to tell yourself that this is what I'm going to do? So this is all we're a change of mindset. Engage in personal development. Personal development will create awareness in you to make you to begin to ask questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What have I achieved? I've lived up to 50 years. I have less time to live than I have to, So it means that if it's football, they call it injury time. Injury time is when everything is hurrying up, You don't, before you know it, the whistle is blown, and that is when you're over. So if you're working on injury time, now you know that your pace has to be saying this afternoon is a self-assessment. Who am I? If you're not taking anything, why am I here? You talk with it, and where am I going? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. We talked about goal. How are you setting your goal? We talked about personality. What kind of a person are you? Are you empowering or disempowering? Who are you? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. I want to stop. I know some of us joined late, some went out and came back. But then, if you have any question in any of them or an area that you think you missed out, you can ask before I close for this lecture. I don't want to be repeating myself, except I have specific questions. Your question, you can speak now since you are up. You can speak too. If you don't want to write, you just talk. Are you for hearing me? Did I miss you? Unmute. Yeah. I muted you. Do you have any questions? Moses. Please, you can unmute yourself now and ask your questions. You can unmute yourself now and ask your question. Yeah, John. Okay, so how can we measure up again when we miss our benchmarks? It's simple. When you miss your benchmark, the important thing is the activities. Because to meet benchmark means that you have mixed the activities you're supposed to do. You remember it's one goal, one benchmark, and one activity. So when you meet the benchmark, then go back to the activity and review it and don't miss it. That's just as simple as that. And then to the intentions, that's the daily things you need to do, because you find out that it even will stem from intention, that daily activities you need to do every day to help you meet your benchmark. You see that that's where the whole thing starts. So you go and review the whole thing and go back to it again. It's as simple as that. And then, if you think that the goals are too high, you can review it. But it's better to have a higher goal than to have a nice to have goal. A nice to have goal is just to put there with no serious intentions to make it work. So. Any more questions? Godwin, do you have a question? You came in very late.
No, ma, I'm so sorry. I came in late. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, but I don't have questions.
Problem. But I hope you got something.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Any more questions?
Thank you so much.
We have done 3 or 4 today. We did purpose, we did identity, visions, and goals and intentions. Is anybody talking?
I was.
Next one. Next one. You can write a chat if the network is affecting it. Can you write it? We're not hearing you.
So.
Huh? Uche, we are not hearing you. Can you put it down? I think the line is breaking heavily. Can you hear me? I think they muted themselves. Can you hear me, Uche? Huh? So, okay, yes, everything is on. Okay. Okay, I think we are done for today. If there are no questions anymore, then it's okay. So thank you so much for coming up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And
Just stop the share.